Imagine this. You're standing across from the most dangerous swordsman in Japan. He's fought over 60 duels and never lost. The sun is rising, the sword is at your side, and yet, when the time comes, he doesn't draw his blade. He defeats you without using a weapon. What kind of warrior wins without fighting? What kind of swordsman chooses no sword? Miyamoto Musashi, perhaps the greatest samurai strategist to ever live, devoted the end of his life not to sharpening his blade, but to transcending it. In his philosophy, the ultimate level of mastery is not in technique, not in form, not even in skill, but in the absence of the sword itself. Today we explore this radical idea, the way of no sword, Musashi's final and most profound teaching. Welcome to the unfolding journey. This is a space where we walk slowly through ancient texts, forgotten philosophies, and the wisdom of warrior poets like Musashi. If you're seeking more than just knowledge, if you're looking for transformation through timeless insight, you're in the right place. Let's step beyond the edge of the blade and into something deeper. Miyamoto Musashi's name echoes through history as the archetypal swordsman. Born in 1584 during one of the most violent eras in Japan, Musashi lived as a ronin, a masterless samurai. By age 13 he had killed in a duel. By his 30s he had defeated the best warriors of his time, many of them with psychological tactics, unorthodox timing, and unpredictable strategy. He wielded 2 swords in combat, created his own martial arts school, and wrote the legendary Book of 5 Rings. But what's often overlooked is that, in his final years, Musashi began letting go of the very thing that defined him, the sword. Why? Because for Musashi, true mastery wasn't about defeating others, it was about defeating the illusion of self. The sword was just a tool. And tools, he realized, are temporary. The spirit behind them, that is eternal. This realization gave rise to a powerful idea. No sword, muken in Japanese. The culmination of strategy, discipline, and inner clarity. At first glance, no sword might sound paradoxical. How can a swordsman fight without a sword? But Musashi was not speaking literally. No sword is not about being unarmed, it's about being unattached. Let's break it down. A beginner needs technique. A skilled warrior refines form. A master makes form invisible. But the sage no longer depends on form at all. In Musashi's view, clinging to any technique, even one as powerful as swordsmanship, was a limitation. He believed that a warrior must learn to flow with any situation, weapon or not. Ultimately, one must become the weapon, not just wield it. He wrote, "When you attain the way of strategy, there will not be one thing you cannot see. You will see the way in all things." This is the essence of no sword. To move beyond method, beyond tool, and see through to the core of strategy itself. Awareness, presence, and intent. Perhaps the most vivid example of the no-sword concept is found in Musashi's duel against Sasaki Kojirō, his most formidable opponent. Kojirō was a master of the swallow cut, a fast and elegant sword technique. The duel was set on Ganryu Island. But Musashi did something unexpected. He arrived late. He came by boat, carved a wooden sword for men or on the way, and used that instead of a steel blade. He then defeated Kojirō with a single blow. Why does this matter? Because Musashi had already internalized the principle of no sword. He didn't rely on form or honor rituals, or even a traditional weapon. He relied on his strategy, timing, and understanding of the enemy's rhythm. The wooden sword was incidental. The real weapon was his mind. This moment, where mind triumphed over metal, symbolized the very essence of Musashi's later teachings. In the Book of 5 Rings, Musashi outlines layers of mastery. The Earth Book lays the foundation, the Water Book speaks of adaptability, the Fire Book about battle, the Wind Book about other schools, and finally, the Book of the Void. It's here, in the void, where we glimpse the concept of no sword most clearly. He writes, "The void is where nothing exists. It is the realm of nothingness. Know the void and understand it well." This is not nihilism. It is the freedom beyond dependence. No sword is not just about letting go of weapons. It's about letting go of identity, ego, and the need to prove. The master becomes empty, not in weakness but in openness. This emptiness allows the warrior to respond without hesitation, without preconception, and without attachment to outcome. Modern parallels, no sword in daily life. Now let's bring this down from the mountaintop. How does the philosophy of no sword apply to you? Someone living in a modern world far removed from duels on misty islands. A few powerful parallels. 1. Letting go of tools as identity. We often define ourselves by our swords, our job titles, social roles, talents, even our phones or platforms. But what happens when the tool is taken away? No sword teaches us that true skill resides in the self, not in the tools we carry. Whether you're a designer, an athlete, a leader, or a creator, the real power is in your adaptability, your vision, your calm under pressure. 2. Responding, not reacting. In life, we're often attacked, not with swords but with criticism, setbacks, chaos. The untrained person reacts defensively. The technician uses learned responses. The master, however, responds with presence. No sword is the capacity to meet life without preloaded scripts. 3. Transcending ego and conflict. Musashi eventually lost interest in fighting for pride or reputation. In the same way, many of the battles we fight, arguments, status games, power struggles, can be transcended. No sword doesn't mean never standing up for yourself. It means not needing to win to be whole. That's true power. In the end, Musashi wasn't fighting others, he was fighting himself. His ego. His attachment to form. His fear of emptiness. The concept of no sword begins within. It asks hard questions. Can you let go of what defines you? Can you meet life with presence even when unarmed? Can you see strategy not as a weapon, but as a way of being? It is said that Musashi spent his final years in a cave, alone, meditating, painting, and writing. This was not retreat. It was integration. He no longer needed to fight because he had internalized the essence of strategy. He had become the sword, and then transcended even that. Artists too can learn from no sword. Writers who stop clinging to formula. Musicians who play from silence. Creators who no longer chase trends but express something timeless. No sword is the creative process unbound. It's trusting intuition over imitation. It's when your tools become extensions of your spirit, not replacements for it. Here's the final paradox. When you no longer need the sword, you're never without one. That is the hidden promise of Musashi's path. You train endlessly, not to fight better but to not need to fight at all. And when life throws a challenge your way, you meet it with clarity, not panic. This is not passive. It is peace forged through discipline, power refined into grace. Musashi's path was brutal, disciplined, and lonely, but it points to a freedom we all long for, the ability to move through life without fear, without dependence, and without the need to prove ourselves through conflict. No sword is the final stage of all mastery, the stage where form becomes formless and the warrior becomes wise. If this journey into the heart of Musashi's wisdom spoke to you, if you're drawn to ideas that challenge, deepen, and transform, subscribe to The Unfolding Journey. We're not just exploring history. We're rediscovering what it means to live with presence, purpose, and quiet strength. Until next time, lay down your sword and walk lightly. Because sometimes, the most powerful warrior is the one who has nothing to prove. Subscribe, reflect, unfold.